Hello, everybody, and welcome to our prospecting tip of the day. This is Sarah Robbins, and I'm so thrilled to be with you guys. We're going to get started here in just a minute, but as we kind of wait, I would love to hear who you are and where you're tuning in from. So if you wouldn't mind sharing that in the comments below, I would love to say hello. And of course, if it is your first time watching, go ahead and click a number 1 in the comments below. I would love to warmly welcome you. And don't forget to share this on your team pages for a chance for a shout out. Remember, you want to share, guys, because the more who know, the greater your teams will grow. How many of you guys are getting value out of these free trainings that I'm doing every single day for the past couple of months? I hope you guys have been loving it right here on my Facebook page. It's been pretty awesome, hasn't it? I hope you guys have loved learning as much as I have loved sharing and giving. It has been a joy to be able to spend this time with you, typically about just 15 minutes a day to help you to rock your network marketing business. Now, as you guys go ahead and introduce yourself, I will introduce myself because there's a lot of first-time watchers that have been watching most recently. Who am I? Well, I am Sarah Robbins. I am a former kindergarten teacher turned network marketing top leader. I went from being the least highest earner in my company, if ever there's a title, to being the top earner. It took me 3 months to recruit my first consultant. I had a very slow start, but through a lot of personal and professional growth, I went on to personally recruit over 300 people on my team. We built a sales team of over 300,000 distributors and millions of customers. And together we did over $1 billion in sales in 1 year just on our team. I am also the author of the best-selling book, Rock Your Network Marketing Business, which you can find on my site at sarahrobbins.com, and the creator of the CD and MP3 series, the Rockstar Recruiting School, which is my entire success system, and my new one for leaders, the Masterclass Edition. So I want to say hello to you guys and welcome to those of you that are listening for the very first time. And thank you so much, Tabitha and everybody else who's sharing with their teams. I so appreciate you. Today's tip is going to be short and sweet, but I tell you, it's so important. We're going to be talking about 3 of the most common mistakes made online and how you can avoid them. Why is this important? Well, social media, guys, you cannot deny it is growing, it is evolving, and really it is the top marketing platform for big brands, but also for small business owners today. If we look at the network marketing profession, if you watched my training yesterday's tip of the day, I talked about why network marketing. Thank you, Kim, for sharing. I talked a little bit about Gen Y and the millennials, that they make up the majority of the direct selling market today, meaning the percentage of millennials that are involved in direct selling, millennials and Gen Y, is higher than any other category. Where are they hanging out? They're hanging out online. So it's really important that we make social media our primary tool for reaching out, prospecting, engaging, training, doing events, etc. And that maybe not primary, but an important part, I should say. And of course, nothing replaces the live presentations as events, as you'll read about in my book. But here's the thing, we've got to do it and we've got to do it well. So that's why today I want to talk about the 3 most common mistakes made online and how you can avoid them. All right. So first and foremost, some of you may have heard me share this on one of my tips of the day, that the biggest mistake that I made online was passive prospecting. Has anybody made that mistake too? Don't leave me feeling alone here. If you've made that mistake too, say me too. Okay. Here's the thing. Back when I started in the business, I was, a big bundle of doubt and fear. I really lacked skill set, really weak mindset. Like most people when they're starting something new. And so I had thought so many times, you could see the lady in the black sparkly dress in this picture of this one particular woman in my business. She was one of my former account executives. I freelanced for her while I was a kindergarten teacher. Thanks, guys, for those of you that are being honest. And in a roundabout way, she kind of got me involved in my current company because I used to freelance for that company before it was in direct selling. So naturally, I thought of her because she's a business owner, she's smart, she's savvy, she knows a lot of people, she's great with people, but I was afraid. She was on my chicken list. And so I decided to do passive prospecting. I thought, you know what? I'm going to add her on Facebook, and I'm not going to say a word about my business. I don't want to burn any bridges. And surely if she's interested, she's going to see my post and come to me. Big mistake. If you think somebody's great, somebody else is too. Somebody will contact them. Why not now? Why not you? In this case, Rose out of Chicago beat me to it and called her. And here's the language she used. By the way, if you want good language for reaching out to people that maybe you admire or look up to, an influencer in your community, or maybe somebody on your chicken list, here you go. Stacy reached out to Rose and built on her credibility and said, Rose, I know you've built a great community or a great business or a lot of friendships or relationships or connections, but I know that you've built successful businesses in Chicago. She said, I'm building a business there. I would love to share it with you in hopes that I can pick your brain and get some ideas on how to grow this year. Can I treat you to coffee? So here's the thing, guys. You could offer to treat people to coffee or a virtual coffee if you want to meet over FaceTime or Skype and do a little, cheers, a little toast together, and reach out, send them a little e-card. You're a star, here's some bucks. Thanks for keeping my business brewing. So Stacy says sure, and she agrees to meet Rose, and she comes with a list full of names of people, her freelancers that she was going to give Rose to reach out. I was probably on that list. So Rose sits down with Stacy and shares with her why she joined, her what the business is doing and what it's doing for her and what it's allowing her to do for others. And then she shared her who she's looking for, people to try the products and get great results, and people to join their fun and fast-growing team. And she said, who do you know this would be great for? And Stacy said, me. She put that list of names in her pocket and said, how can I learn more? And Rose said, come to a meeting that we're doing on Tuesday night in Chicago. We've got a special guest speaker. So they go to the meeting, and guess who is the guest speaker? Yours truly. And in walks Stacy. She joined that year, became the #1 recruiter in the company that year, and now does multi-millions of dollars of sales volume with her team. I guess you could call that my multi-million-dollar mistake, passive prospecting. If somebody comes to mind, guys, you have to reach out personally. You have to make that connection as soon as they come to your mind, because if you don't, somebody else will. So how can you avoid making this common mistake? Here's the solution. You can screenshot this if you'd like, or write it down, or listen to this again later, but definitely click the share button right now, guys, and share this with your teams. They need this language. So if I were to reach out to somebody, I might say something like this. Hey, Joanna, I realize this is out of the blue, so state the obvious, right? I hope you're well. I've loved watching your family grow on Facebook, or say some sort of compliment here. The point is, personalize the conversation. We really need to catch up. Acknowledge the obvious, okay? But I'm reaching out for a reason today. Now, here's the thing. People don't have a problem if you have an agenda. They have a problem if you have a hidden agenda. So I'm reaching out for a reason today. I know you live in Utah, or I know you live in Chicago. Wherever they live is where you're growing. And that market is an important area of growth for my business for many reasons. You may or may not have an interest, but either way, I would love to tell you more and pick your brain on ideas of ways to grow that market and perhaps make some connections there. Can you shoot me your cell phone? I'm hoping you can help me and would love to connect, or would love to catch up, if nothing else. And then personalize the conversation. Congrats on your darling son, or, it was so great seeing pictures of your son's graduation, whatever. 10 to 15 minutes is all I need. I'm sure that's all you have time for right now. Thanks so much, and I'll drop another message if I don't hear from you first. Now, a little bonus tip for you guys right here is do it as a voice memo or make a phone call. But if they're only on social media and you don't have their contact information, did you hear how I read that? That doesn't sound salesy. When people say, I don't want to bug people, I'm like, you're not bugging people unless you bug people. I don't bug people. So reach out to them and just have that gentle voice, that, really incredible connection. Leave them the voice memo. And then you see in parentheses, offer to bring them to coffee. Offer to take them to a virtual coffee. Okay, so offer to meet them and to treat them either live, virtual, or etc. All right, guys. So Sorry, my little guy just came in to give me kisses. All right, so here's the thing, guys. There are a few ideas of power posts for you. I want to give you guys some ideas on how to reach out. All right, sorry about that, guys. That was unexpected, but a cute little treat. If only you could have seen him. He came in to give me a little kiss before nap time. He went to his little lesson with his dad. So a power post idea are a few reasons for reaching out. So here's the thing. I tell people posting is an excuse for reaching out. Don't use it to be passive. So what are some ideas for power posts that actually work? I'm going to actually touch on these and show you actual examples on tonight's social media training, which I'll tell you about in a little bit. Who's registered, by the way? You can register at sarahrobbins.com. So some ideas for power posts. So as network marketers, we're paid storytellers. You can write this down: facts tell, stories sell. How do you tell stories about our product without saying, buy my product? Well, you could post before and after pictures or progress pictures. You could share testimonials. So, testimonials of yourself or others. Here's a little quick tip for you. Text the customer today and say, how are you loving the products? I'm just, looking to check in. It's great customer service. Well, when they respond, then screenshot the post or screenshot the text and say, can I have your permission to share this? And share it out on social media. Another happy customer. What about places that you've been in the press? So showcasing some of the magazine articles, etc. What about doing some fun product selfies? So when our recent product launched, I did a little block over the product so you couldn't see what it is, but I made you guess. And then when it launched, I took a picture of myself with it. It's far more personal and powerful than just posting a picture or, just a JPEG or a graphic that your company makes available. What about Facebook Live? We're going to talk all about Facebook Live on tonight's webinar. Guys, it's going to be so juicy and good. It is where it is at. I'm telling you what, it's something that you've got to learn and master. It doesn't have to be perfect. Perfectionism equals procrastination, but you've got to get it done. So you can do live demos or tutorials on your product too. For business stories, how do you tell a story about the business without just saying all the time, join my team, and being a walking advertisement? Welcome new consultants on your personal public profile and tag them. Share congratulations for people who are earning promotions, trips, different perks or gifts, or making the leaderboard. It shows your team is growing, that they're being rewarded. It provides social proof. And again, I'm going to show you power posts tonight. Do shameless self-promotions. Like, how do you say I earned a trip or a perk without just saying, hey, look at me? Hey guys, I earned this really great trip to Italy from my company. Who's been? Where are places to go? Things to see, and most importantly, places to eat. Posts like that get so much engagement, but it shows what you're doing. Showcase experiences you're having and relationships you're building. So at conventions, events, and retreats. Guys, part of human nature, we want to be a part of community. And make sure you're telling lots of stories, whether it's your story or other people's story. From time to time, share your why and your what the business is doing for you, always focusing on meaning versus money. And we'll talk about that in just a few minutes. But remember this, posts are a reason to reach out. Don't just leave them sit there and passive prospect. The fortune is in the follow-up. I tell my team, when you make great campaigns, email them out to all of your customers, current and previous, all of your prospects, current and previous, all of your friends and family. Then post it out on all of your social sites. Tonight, we're going to talk about Facebook and Facebook stories, Instagram and Instagram stories, and then follow up. So they're an excuse to follow up. Campaigns are an excuse to follow up because 20% of emails are open, and it's about the same chance that you're actually going to be seeing in the newsfeed, even less so if you're posting something about your business. So if you express interest in me in the product or the opportunity, I'd email you. I hope you saw my post. You might not though. So here's the thing, I'm going to call you. And I'd say, hey, Carrie, as a courtesy to you, I wanted to be sure that you saw my offer or that you got my email. Earlier, you mentioned interest in the product or in the business. Would you be interested in learning more and taking advantage of the special offer today? And again, that little blank there is sharing what the offer is. Earlier, as a courtesy to you, I wanted to be sure you saw my offer, free whatever with purchase just for today. Earlier, you mentioned interest in that product. Would you be interested in learning more or taking advantage of this offer today? All right, guys, here's another common mistake. It's claims, making claims. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what I mean. So here's a big problem is when we're making income claims, guys, not only is it non-compliant, we are a highly regulated industry, and it's become more and more so over time. You know, you can't tell anybody that they're going to make any guaranteed income, nor should you be sharing your income or anybody else's. So I'm going to tell you how to do this well, if you'll just listen and stay tuned. You know, implied income claims, though, could be even saying things like, I retired my spouse, or continuing to show the fancy boats and cars and all of these things and saying, you know, I did it through network marketing and you can too. Those are implied income claims. Guys, it just looks bad. I mean, bottom line, it looks bad, not only to the FDA, the FTC, to your company, right? Your legal team, but it looks bad for all of us overall. It's what gives network marketing a bad name. Can I get an amen from anybody else? Let me just share with you a quick story. When I started my business, this was back in the day, it was 11 years ago. So back in the day, we weren't regulated. We didn't have policies and procedures as we did today. And somebody had asked me, you know, what does your mom make? And at that time, we were just starting off, and she had earned $10,000 a month. And I thought that was huge. So I tell the lady, and she looks at me and she goes, that's it? And I'm like, are you kidding me? That's it? I was a teacher making $2,200 a month. I'm like, that's amazing to me. Like, it's amazing. But you can't judge what's a lot or a little to somebody. So it's like, how do you quantify what's an impressive success story? If I told people my income, they wouldn't even believe me. They'd think I was like the Wizard of Oz. It's not even worth it. I don't even go there. And here's the weird thing, guys. We don't ask people in other professions what they make. So why are you sharing with them what you're earning? Again, it's all different. I tell this story on stage one time about this guy who started my business. And I said to him, you know, I always ask my team, I never give them goals because they're personal, you know, they're a part of them. I teach them company things they can go for. But I said, what's your goal? Like, how much money would you like to make? What would be meaningful for you your first month? And I gave him some examples. And he said to make $50 a month to take my wife on a nice date. Now I know what you're all thinking. Aw, that's amazing. So here's the thing. What's a lot or a little to people? So not only is it non-compliant and can get you in a lot of trouble, but it's not important either. So here's the solution. Focus on meaning versus money. Tell stories about what the business is allowing you to do. Is it allowing you to be a full-time hands-on mom? Is it allowing you to have a shameless shoe fun and go shopping? Is it allowing you to donate time or resources to causes that you're passionate about? Can you imagine the impact that those stories make, guys? That's what's important. And that's honestly what people relate to. They'll say, I want to do that too. And the other big problem people make, again, can land you in a world of trouble is product claims. Guys, I promise you the other day, I saw somebody post their product. They were in health and wellness, that it cured cancer and it took them off their chemotherapy. I was like, oh dear God, imagine that can literally like lead people astray, you know, who need to be on treatment. We're not doctors, nor should we play the part. Even if you are a doctor in the industry, you should only be sharing with people what's on your marketing materials that have been cleared by your company. We don't cure anything. You know, with my product, it's skincare. So I can say it helped with the appearance of my lines and wrinkles, but I don't say anything above and beyond that. It helped with the appearance of my skin texture, helped with the appearance of my skin tone. Now my skin looks brighter. It feels smoother. So again, share your product story wisely. And remember this above all, the truth is good enough. And the last common mistake is losing the personal touch. We're a person-to-person business, guys. I recently just had an awful experience actually interviewing, or not even interviewing, but researching some different companies for webinar platforms, for my contact management, for evergreen products, et cetera. And there was two I was looking at. And one of them is really big and reputable. But when I was researching if it was right for me, I noticed there's no customer service number. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm type A. I'm like, I don't have time to look at a million articles and read 8,000 paragraphs to learn how to do one thing. So they had a chat session. That was all that was available. And thank God it was during the time that, you know, they had it available. So I go and I start chatting with this guy. And long story short, come to find out, you know, I mean, it was like 30 minutes later of chatting, guys, what could have been a 3-minute conversation. I'm like to the guy, look, can we just get on the phone? I mean, I was getting just frustrated. And he said, sorry, we don't offer that service. And I was like, well, then you're not going to get mine. I mean, no offense, but you're not. And the guy didn't know that, it's not about the money you spend, but it's about the influence you had. I have a lot of people on my team. I know a lot of networkers in the industry, a lot of people I could have referred it on to. And of course, a service that I could have used as well. Had another company that I reached out to do some webinars and things like that. And I just reached out. They didn't know who I was. And I said, hey, I'm just wondering about your services. The guy, whoever it was, said, you know what, I can hop on with you online right now and just give you a complimentary walkthrough. Would that help? I was like, I would love that. 30 minutes later, I purchased the product and I referred it on to hundreds of thousands of people. Guys, customer service is king. If you treat people like royalty, they will give you loyalty. When people are looking for who to join in business or who to buy from, they're not just looking at what company, they're looking at from what leader. And they're going to say, how responsive are they? How experienced are they? How professional are they? And of course, are they willing to make that connection? Like if I needed help, would they pick up the phone? Would they be available? So here's the thing, guys. When you see somebody interacting on your social media post, as much as a like or a comment, they're a prospect because they're showing interest. So then direct message them, and better yet, use the voice memo. Just say, hey, thanks for liking my post today. I've been meaning to reach out to you about this. Would it be possible to connect live? I'd love to get your opinion. Or when somebody direct messages me, I never send them a link. I instead say to them, hey, thanks so much for reaching out. I'd love to share more. What's a good time and number to reach you? Do you know I've never had anybody tell me no and say like, oh, you can't call me? We get on the phone. This way they hear my voice. I share the story. I answer their questions. I handle the objections. My conversion rate is so high, I'm able to conquer the close. Do you know when I send them a link? After we talk. So after I do all those things, after I make that first connection, I'll say, after we talk, I'll say, I've loved chatting today. Here's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to send you a link. I want you to write down what questions you have. And let's get back on the phone. Today's Monday. I've got times Tuesday or Wednesday. When works for you to answer your final questions? And if you're ready to get started, we'll take that time to get you enrolled. Works like a charm, guys. It's a personal touch. Another thing that drives me crazy. Don't spam people and add them to your Facebook groups. Can I get an amen on that one too? I'm tired of removing myself from all the Facebook groups that people invite me to without my permission. All right, you may not want to admit this, but who's watched The Real Housewives? Clearly I have. But if there's one thing that you notice, they pick up the phone to make, whether you like them or not, they pick up the phone call to make invitations like, oh, darling, I'm having dinner on Friday night. Will you join me? People want to be personally invited. The personal invitations, the phone calls, those are the ones that get my attention. To be honest, I don't even know what Facebook groups I'm in. I just don't even do it anymore. But don't add me to groups, guys. But if somebody reached out to me and said, you know what, I'm just starting my business. I would love your opinion, and I would love for you to be my special guest. I'm giving some free product perks for anybody who gives me their time. I'd love to have you be my special guest. Are you available? Right? You're much more likely to consider if somebody reaches out and invites you personally. Remember this always, customer service is king. Oh, and I guess there's one more thing. Not being a student of social media. Guys, as I mentioned, social media is where it's at. And that's where the majority of direct marketers are hanging, and where, of course, a lot of your prospects are hanging out as well. You've got to be a student of this, guys. You've got to know how to do powerful posts on Facebook that pull people in versus push people away, right? You need to know how to sprinkle it in. Your post shouldn't be about your business every day, but you should do a quality post a day to keep leads coming your way. But it's not one sloppy post. It's one engaging post that entertains or educates, encourages, etc. You need to know how to do live video. That is where it's at. It's receiving 1,200 times more interaction, as I shared on yesterday's Facebook Live. You need to know how to do Instagram stories and Facebook stories. We need to know how to do virtual events, because for those who won't go to live events, they'll hang out online. So it's something that we absolutely have to learn and to become really good at. And I want to help you guys do that. This is your last chance. If you'd like to get registered for a few hours worth of content with me, I'm doing my social media that sells webinar. You can register today at sarahrobbins.com. In fact, if you've registered or if you're planning on registering, shout out below. I would love to say thank you. When you go to the store tab, just click on social media that sells. It's going to be tonight at 9, but guess what? You can't make it live. No worries. I realize it's late. We will make a replay available. This is for all companies, totally generic for the network marketing profession. And I'm going to teach you how to do social media very well. Again, I've recruited over 300 people online, and the majority of those people came to me. They messaged me. You guys, it hasn't been through my network marketing posts. It's my little cooking snippets that they'll come to me and they'll say, hey, I've been watching you for a while, and then you sprinkled in this post. I didn't even know what you did. Like, I'm so excited. Tell me more. And I'm going to teach you exactly how I've done that, how I've built community. But also I've built community on my team too. Thank you, Julie and Lauren, for registering. We're going to be talking about Facebook Power Posts and giving you examples. Instagram Power Posts, showing you examples. By the way, I have a special guest who built 2 6-figure businesses on Instagram, no paid advertising. We're going to cover Facebook Live and Instagram Live. We're going to talk about Facebook Stories and Instagram Stories. And the number one thing that I implemented in my business last year, virtual events, I'm pulling back the curtain and I'm teaching you exactly how. Thank you, Kristen and Janet, and for everybody else who's registering. And I do hope to see you there. Well, guys, was this helpful? Did you get something from today's training? Go ahead and share your takeaways below. Don't forget, guys, if you loved what you learned today, to share this on your team pages. And by the way, nobody's taken this training before because this is my first. So if you go ahead and share this on your team pages, because remember, the more who know, the greater your team will grow. Thanks so much, guys, for your time and attention. I hope to see you tonight. And again, for our prospecting tips of the day right here on Facebook. Have a great day, guys. God bless, and goodbye for now. Rock on, rock stars.